All right, we're live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
I'm treacherous Trista.
And we have the fine folks here of Clowns in the Woods, which is playing Friday night at the inaugural Bloody Stumps Film Festival. We have Adrian Esposito.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Kurt Markham.
Good evening.
Nolan Tierce.
Good evening.
Dalton Letta.
How's it going, guys?
Good, thanks. And I believe John Retta will be here momentarily.
He's right here.
Yeah. I don't think he can quite hear us yet, but he'll be here in a second. There he is.
Yeah.
I think he's muted though.
Yeah, you're muted, John. There he
Not
is.
for long.
I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen you or Adrian in a while. I used to see every year at Buffalo.
Yeah, it's been a minute for sure. It's been this long. It's been about this long.
Yeah, your beard
Pandemic beard long, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So Adrian and Kurt, you guys co-wrote it, co-directed it. How did you guys meet and start working together?
Well, we've known Kurt Markham and I have known each other since I believe 2009, right, Kurt?
About that long, I think so, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
I
on.
think when you made your documentary about the Willowbrook is, I think, when I first was aware of your work.
Yeah, and ever since then we've been working together. You're also a consultant and teacher on many of my work, and to answer your question, Neal, we decided to collaborate because I originally came up with the idea with Kurt after we heard about the clown sightings in 2016, where there were these scary clowns coming out of the woods and all this other stuff. And of course, I wanted to add like a little twist to the story, make it not just about scary clowns like all the other movies out there are like scary clowns, but make it unique in a way. So I added some social messages, social commentary into it, little political stuff, LGBTQ rights, and especially disability rights when it came to bullying. Because, a lot of people with disabilities are still being bullied, and in schools and stuff. So I wanted to include that. And Kurt Markham helped flesh out the story more, add more pages, and the rest is history.
Kurt, do you and Adrian, when you're collaborating, do you butt heads at all, or are you guys pretty much on the same page?
My approach is always, these Clowns in the Woods and other projects I've worked with him on, they're ideas that came from Adrian. That's Adrian's vision. So for me, always the challenge is, here's what I think is a good idea, but is this the direction does this fit your vision of the project, or is this not what you wanted to do? So Clowns in the Woods was Adrian's concept. And as Adrian said, I helped him with fleshing out the script, kind of fleshing out some of the story details, adding some more characters in order to make it a solid feature-length script.
And Nolan, how did you get involved?
I got connected from a friend of mine that I worked on a movie with. That was my first film, Brute Sanity. Director, writer, producer. His name is Sam Vandervray. I got that connection from him to Adrian to be a part of Clowns.
Interestingly, my first acting role was with Sam Vandervray.
Yeah.
Not been released yet, but it's several years ago. Well, I know who's a producer on the movie.
He's amazing.
Yeah. And yourself, Dalton, how did you get involved in the movie?
That's a good question, Neal. So I've been doing shows for the past decade on theater, and Adrian came to see me perform as Shrek. So imagine me being green and an ogre with a Scottish accent. He came to see it, and after he saw my performance, he said to me, "You are great. I would like to hire you for the movie." And so he told me it was about clowns, and I love clowns. Get that from my love for the Joker, because I'm a big Batman fan. And the rest is history. I took the chance, and I had so much fun doing it.
Yeah. So along those lines, that you love clowns. When you got to play the clown part, was that an inspiration? The Joker.
A bit of it, but I've been doing Joker actually before that for the past 4 years on Halloween. And I love doing it because I can do voice impersonations, and I do 3 great Joker characters. Besides that, I've loved other clown characters like Pennywise. Who's some other good ones? There's so many I can think of, but that's how much I love clowns.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Art the Clown.
Hmm?
I'm a big fan of Art the Clown from Terrifier.
That's a good one.
I recommend it. Yeah.
One of my favorite is a fan character. His name's Laughing Jack. Now he's a clown. You want to be careful to stay away from.
Very good. And John, how did you get involved?
Well, I started working with Adrian kind of a bit like in the background with stuff where he would just kind of ask me questions and I'd talk with him about stuff. And we kind of worked together on a lot of projects where, you know, we may have a question for each other depending. So I was kind of in the background doing a lot of other things. And then he kind of asked if I would play this character when the original person who was going to play it fell through and everything. And I said, that sounds like fun. And then I read the character and I was like, oh my goodness, this guy's a real big jerk. And I said, well, you know, it's kind of like, I've been in contact with some people that remind me of him. And I know that Adrian's had a lot of people that have treated him like that in real life. So I felt as though I had to be as authentic with the character as possible. And I am a pretty big, grimy piece of crap in this film. So yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty
that's not your real
crazy.
hat. And I assume that's
Yeah.
not your real hat in the movie.
No. But I have the one that's all burnt up and shredded up, and every once in a while I'll kind of bring it out if there's like I brought it to the premiere, so afterwards I put it on, it was all burnt up. You know what I mean? But that's about as far as I get with that guy.
Since John touched on this, and you know, if you don't want to talk about it, I understand. But Adrian, did you experience a lot of bullying or any bullying growing up?
I did in my neighborhood, not so much in schools because I've been in special ed school system basically my whole life. I mean, it happened once in a while when I was in high school, like 16, 17, but most of it came from my neighborhood growing up because kids would, you know, they call me the R word, you know, and if in case nobody knows what the R word is, it's the word, you know, retard. And
I thought they called you Randy. Sorry.
But that's, you know, that's where a lot of those experiences came from. Now, mind you, it was more verbal and mental abuse in my neighborhood. It wasn't really physical, as you'll see in the film. But I just know from different accounts from different people and watching films and documentaries that, you know, that the bullying issue is still a major problem in schools, and not just schools in America, but in England, Australia, where, you know, people with disabilities and
Really
so forth are
problem.
treated, you know, like, you know, not like equals, you know. And so I thought I should address this in this clown movie. I mean, it was addressed in It, you know, but in a different way, I think, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
Nolan,
thought it
did
was
that
cool.
aspect? Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just saying, I thought it was really cool to see people with, you know, that are differently abled in like an R-rated, like a hard R, in your face kind of horror film and stuff like that. And I think that alone will make people think twice about not including differently abled people in their storylines and things like that. It's just, I just feel as though it adds like extra depth to a lot of the characters and stuff. And I mean, some great actors too. It was awesome working opposite everybody. Everybody was so talented on the set, and it was one of my favorite sets to work on, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Plus, I didn't have to do the special effects.
Nolan, was the bullying aspect of the script in the movie, was that something that interested you?
A little bit, but because I actually touched on the subject because I also was bullied. And I was bullied in the school system and even outside of school. So that really brought my experience to the role in the film. And even it felt awesome with having a deeper connection to all the characters, including myself. Because they're like little pieces of everyone with their different stories.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to give too much of the movie away, but I also like that it's a cautionary tale of if you not to go so far into the revenge aspect, because you yourself then can possibly that can result in you becoming the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, John and Adrian, did you guys meet at Buffalo Film Festival, or did you meet on films?
I can't remember now. I think we met at one of the local Buffalo Film Festival, right, John?
I think it might have been at the festival, if I remember correctly. I think a mutual friend of ours or somebody had been mentioned. And actually, if I remember correctly, I think we started talking before the festival, but it was because of one of the festivals that we started talking, because it was just a mutual filmmaker kind of thing. If I remember correctly, I'm not sure if it was at the festival that we first talked. I think it was before. If I remember correctly.
It might have been before or at Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival where we really started connecting.
Yeah, but I think it was all kind of a part of just because of being in that film industry and stuff and going to the festivals and things.
Yeah.
But Buffalo Dreams definitely. I think that was pretty much one of the defining characteristics of us meeting. What was that for sure? Even if it wasn't there, it was just part of it,
Yeah, and I think we also really started to get to know each other better when we traveled for Greetings from Tromaville, my film, to the New Jersey Horror Con and the Horror Hound Festival convention, I should say, in Cincinnati, Ohio.
You should do that again for Clowns in the Woods. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll have to see, because it may not be possible this year. I mean, but we'll see.
Trista, do you have a question?
Adrian, do you mind talking a little bit about Espo Cinema and your mission with that, or what kind of films you specialize in?
Sure. I started Espo Cinema back in 2008, mostly making documentaries, educational documentaries of a historical value, and to educate people about different subjects, like the one that I did, the third one that really took me off a little bit into being a little recognized was We Can Shine from Institutions to Independence. And that was about the history of people with disabilities in institutions like Willowbrook, and how things have changed for the better. And I do believe now it's basically Espo Cinema is steering in a different direction. It's I feel, the company and myself want to make more narrative films, and I have other ideas for movies, other scripts. An action film called Office Under Siege. Of course, another film I want to do, but I have to still get a ton of money for an investment, is Special Needs Revolt. And the third one is a zombie film called Special Ed of the Dead, and of course there's another one called Transgender Stein. But those are a bunch of the scripts which are still in the works, and one of them I finished, but my friend Kurt Markham is going to help flesh it out with more pages to make it a feature film. Is a Transgender Stein, because I'm a fan of Frankenstein movies and the LGBTQ community, so, like, John Waters, and so I decided to make that into a type of a movie. And of course, I'm also a fan of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, so that's where that idea came from too. Not so much a musical aspect, but more of a serious. But so I have a lot of ideas for movies. It's just, the problem is, number one, making it so it's a lot of pages, so it's a feature film, and number two, getting the money, the financing, which is very, very challenging, like pulling teeth.
Dalton, have you watched the finished movie with an audience yet?
Yeah, we got to see it. We got to see a private premiere of it. I'm gonna tell you, it was awesome. So good.
Yeah, that must have been fun watching. Your finished film. You're the lead with a bunch of people.
And I've gotten leads in many other theater shows, but I do love horror films too. I can't do ones with demon possession; those will give me nightmares. But I'm a big fan of hack and slash films.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of ones, if you guys are horror film fans, I would see the new Candyman.
Yeah,
I saw that too. I saw the new Candyman.
A lot of mixed reviews coming in.
Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, I like the new Candyman. It's actually more of a sequel to the original one. Don't you agree, Dalton?
It actually is a direct sequel from the 1992 film. They just did a little reboot change to it, and I actually like it, especially with the shadow puppets.
Yeah, me too.
Agree, yeah. So if you go,
Actually crazy. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, when you go, stay for the credits, because there's a lot. The whole credits they have a lot of shadow puppet scenes. So.
I did. I saw it. It was perfect.
Yeah, and my mom loved it, and she's a big fan of the original.
I have a bunch of shadow puppets written into a script actually that I've been working on. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, goody!"
I thought maybe they'll think I took it from Candyman, but yeah.
Yeah,
Great movie.
Yeah, I have a question for Dalton, if that's okay, Neal.
Course, yeah.
Since I'm doing a script, Transgender Stein, what do you think of the Rocky Horror Picture Show and the character, Meatloaf's character? Do you think you could play his character? I mean, not play, but dress up as his character, like a cosplay?
I can look to check my schedule, but let me see, and I'll let you know when I can get back to you.
Yeah, I think that would be you would be great as the Meatloaf character from Rocky Horror Picture Show, the singing and all that.
Well, of course, I do love singing Time Warp. Whenever I hear Rocky Horror Show, next thing I'm singing, "Let's do Time."
Oh.
I don't know why, but every time I hear it, it hits me. I'm like, "Oh, great! They're gonna get me stuck singing it."
I love that movie.
Marcia Miller in the chat room says hello, and she's a friend of Trista's. Hello, and she wants to know how you can watch Clowns in the Woods. Well, this Friday, right here on this same YouTube page, you'll be able to watch it for free, or this Saturday, sorry, will be part of the Saturday block.
Cool, very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's one time here, it won't stay up. Some people ask about that, but these films are playing other festivals and want to have distribution deals, so they can't stay on the YouTube page. So it's a one-time thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And Nolan, are you a horror movie fan?
I am a horror movie fan. I drifted in and out of that because in the beginning, when I was 9, I saw Rocky Horror.
That's
I
a
was
kind of
scarred.
Rocky Horror, yeah.
I was scarred. So I didn't know a lot about it, that whole transgender stuff when I was a kid. So that really scared me. So that was up until when I became an actor at the age of 24. That really came to me in a positive light because of I fell in love with it, and I actually saw it live out here in Dartmouth, like the stage show, and I participated.
Oh, very cool.
So, yeah, it felt like it's amazing. It's like I fell in love with it. I love the music. Eddie is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. You have a favorite song?
Yeah, Hop Tootie.
That-
Because I know all the words to it.
yeah. You want to give us a little bit or?
Sure. Whatever happened to us Saturday night? But I thought stop it. I thought all right.
Dalton was dancing to it. He approved it.
That's what I'm saying.
So Kurt, how about the editing? Who does the editing on your guys' movies?
So that would be Adrian. I might give some advice here and there, or another filmmaker that we know, Mike Boas, might also have some suggestions of, maybe trim this here or do this or do that. But it's mainly been Adrian because he's got the editing resources, he's got the computer, he's got the software, so he's been the one putting the movie together.
Where did you learn to edit, Adrian? Because I'll be honest, editing is my least favorite thing to do. But
I learned how to edit. It was all hands-on, I would say. I didn't go to school for it. I just learned all hands-on, and this was before YouTube had all those video tutorials on how to do things with After Effects and how to edit and do all, do all this different stuff. So it was very hard. I had a book, a manual, and it just came by practice. I still need help from my editing consultant and teacher, Mike Boas, to do stuff like visual effects and stuff, After Effects, because that's very so much of a challenge to me. But I did ask another friend and who's involved in films, Chris Cosgrave, to do some of the visual effects with the fire. And like for example, when the clowns were on fire, that was Chris Cosgrave. I don't want to give too much away, but some of the scenes that involve fire, that was Chris Cosgrave.
how about the makeup and the effects in the movie? It wasn't John Reno, we found out.
That was Tom Gleason. He did some of the effects, like with the limbs and all that. It was also Mike Boas. And it was also another visual special effects man who's involved in films. His name is R.J. Young, and also Tom Gleason's daughter, Kyra Gleason. So it was a group effort. It wasn't just one or two people. It was a bunch of people. Yeah. So it was pretty fun watching it come to life, the makeup effects.
Yeah. Terrible Troy says hello from the chat room. We won't tell on him that he's work, but yes, hello Troy. He has new work schedule, so he couldn't be here tonight. Trista, do you have a question?
I know Nolan loves the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'd love to know if anyone else has a favorite horror movie they'd like to share.
Favorite horror film. Well, that's hard because I've got a bunch that I'm a mix of.
All right. So to give you an idea, this is my horror section.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's not the Blu-rays. The Blu-rays are somewhere else. That's just my DVD horror collection. So it's very hard for me to choose. They're all kind of like For me, I have ADD. I also am. I also have some learning disabilities and things. And for me, it's hard to remember certain things in my past. And I remember a lot of things by like sensory memory. So a lot of things are mapped by like films and stuff that I watched with my dad or with my thing and things like that. So sometimes I'll watch movies and I'll get that feeling like the first time I watched it. And that's kind of how I relive some memories, because my memories are a little bit different. I have kind of a linear thought patterns.
I think people can relate with music that way.
Yeah. Same thing with music. Yeah.
With movies. So do you have one that's your most favorite because it has a personal memory with you?
Well, I think for me, probably the Evil Dead trilogy in and of itself, kind of that one whole story arc is one of my favorite things ever. And of course, rest in peace to my man Danny and my man Tim, who was in Dick and Tommy Gun. We can't believe how close between we lost the two of them, two greats. But rest in peace, Danny Hicks and Timothy Patrick Quill. But yeah, so I think it's any one of the three Evil Dead movies. I kind of watched them. The reason I say that is because I watched them kind of all in a row the first time I ever watched them, and I was just like, oh, you know what I mean? So yeah. So from that point on, it was kind of just I've always loved them. That's one of the reasons why I brought Danny and Tim in, because they're just like kind of one of my kind of like pinnacles of just everything, and having them work with me and stuff was so great. And they and like I don't know if you've ever met them before. I'm sure you probably have, but they're both really cool and down to earth. And Danny shared some huge secrets when I was making my first feature, and he was one of the guys I'd say was like a mentor to me. He was really he showed me a lot in that first feature. I couldn't have done it without him. He was a producer, everything. So yeah, I'd have to say definitely Raimi and the Evil Dead boys are my favorite.
Excellent choice. Kurt, do you have an answer for this here?
I think my favorite horror film might be Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, as a kid, I was more of a sci-fi guy than a horror guy, but The Shining was on TV a lot when I was a kid. Our local UHF station seemed to, I mean, it's now a Fox affiliate, and I think either right before or right after it switched over, that seemed to be one of the movies that was in rotation on that channel a lot. So I got to see it a fair amount, and it's a movie that actually is more disturbing as an adult than it was to me as a kid.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
That's interesting because sometimes it's reverse. Like you grow up watching a movie and you watch it as an adult, and it doesn't hold up as well. But then some movies, some movies just look at completely different. It's not necessarily like it better or worse, but yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes when you're an adult, there certain things resonate differently. Like, as a kid, this is just a story, but once you've, had certain challenges in your life, or there are things that worry you as an adult that you never would have thought to seriously worry about as a kid.
Right.
Things can be interpreted differently when you rewatch them as an adult with a new perspective.
Nolan, I know you'd mentioned Rocky Horror Picture Show, but did you have other favorites here?
I actually do. I have a couple. Psycho.
Oh, the
original.
What was the second one? Sorry.
The second one, Jaws.
Oh, Jaws.
Gotta love that for a summer blockbuster. And the Amityville Horror.
Oh, another good one. Did you think of any, Dalton?
I actually did. This made it easy for me. So my favorite hack and slash films, there's two different ones I love. One of them is definitely the whole series of Friday the 13th. I'm a big Jason Voorhees fan. But I also do love Halloween. I love Michael Myers because I love that they're silent killers. They don't have no voices, no conscience. They're engines of just pieces of machinery that just go killing. So I love that also. But one also one that really gets me is Silence of the Lambs, because I like Hannibal Lecter. He's very calm. He's very polite also, which is very freaky. Because one thing I learned about when you're looking at a character's face when they have no emotion and they are empty, that's what's mostly scary when they have no emotion. They just are empty shells. So that's one reason why I like those films. Another one I think that I have a childhood memory for is the Sleepy Hollow film with Johnny Depp, because the Headless Horseman is one of my. I could go on with one, but those are some of my pretty close favorites of all time.
That's very cool. And that's one that's not mentioned too often.
And I would, Nolan brought up a good one. I forgot about Jaws. I think that's probably even a bigger favorite for me than The Shining, because Jaws, I kind of don't always think of it as a horror as much as like an action adventure at sea
Yeah.
kind of story. And when you
And
think,
I'm scared of deep water because of it.
and when people think of, when people think of the archetypal horror movie, they think of, teenagers or, people basically being idiots and getting themselves in trouble because they don't know any better. Whereas Jaws is about three, seasoned adults who are very like roll up their sleeves and let's seriously tackle this problem. It's a very grown up movie. And when you think it, people always used to talk about Steven Spielberg as this like eternal child, but his first really big hit is this very mature movie about adults tackling a problem head on, people with professional skills. So I've always really admired that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Adrian,
Yeah.
what was your favorite horror movie?
Well, it's actually interesting. What got me interested in wanting to be a filmmaker at a young age was the original Dawn of the Dead from 1979. That was a big one. Inspiration. Of course, Night of the Living Dead. That's another one I like. And one that I thought was pretty freaky, but I also thought it was awesome when I saw it at 14 years old, was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one from 1974. I got that at my local video store and I watched it, and it's like, wow, this is freaky and cool with the skeleton furniture and Leatherface and all that, and especially the ending where he's waving around the chainsaw. So those I would say my favorite. I did want to say another horror movie that isn't really talked about by Steven Spielberg is Poltergeist.
Good one.
Yeah,
That is a good one.
yeah. I mean, but I'm more of a fan of Poltergeist too, because it has Will Sampson, who is the Native American from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in that film, and
He's good.
yeah, I like that one more. He played the medicine man in the second one. But I kind of feel that the Hellraiser films are cool too. But I definitely like Texas Chainsaw Massacre a lot, and I do like the original Halloween. I remember after I saw the original Halloween, I had my screen door open. It was nighttime, and after the movie ended with the credits, I closed it and locked it because that's how it affected me.
It's pretty scary, yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're reading in the mask and you see where he's gone, So yeah, makes you want to lock your doors. That movie.
Nolan, you'd mentioned becoming an actor at 24. How did that come about? What made you pursue acting?
Actually, what made me pursue acting was that I've acted before when I was younger in a theater group. But what really pursued an acting career was when I dropped out of college. I took marketing and business, so that's why I went from that to dropping out and decided to become an actor, and been acting ever since. I've done a lot of work as a background extra,
Drive to your house.
and I did a play out of Boston with the Huntington Theater. That had a lot of hype. And did Brute Sanity. And now with Clowns, this was my first ever like feature film role that I ever gotten.
Very cool. Who did all the music? Because you have the opening themes very cool. You have the closing rap.
The person who did the theme song was a guy, local Rochester musician who's a celloist and classically trained musician. His name is Humberto Colon, and I got to him through Humberto through someone I met on Facebook, Olivia Young. And she's also a filmmaker too. I'm working on a film with her as we speak, acting in it. But so it's he did a great job as you saw. But the guy who did the song at the end was I had heard him previously in a song he did end credits for a movie called Attack of the Killer Shrews, Rizzy Renzo, where the theme song was called You Shrews You Lose. So
I approve.
And so what we did was we went and I asked Rizzy on Facebook, can you do the end credits for Clowns in the Woods? And he agreed to it. So the rest is history.
Marsha Miller in the chat. She has a question for everyone here. To know who is someone you would like to work with in the future that you have not worked with yet?
I got someone.
All right.
One actor I'd like to work with is Johnny Depp. He always makes me laugh. There's been others, but I always like Johnny Depp the most because he and I have a certain goal. We don't want to do it for the fame or fortune. We just want to do it to show our gift and our just our ability to act.
Very cool.
Well,
Good answer.
That's cool. Yeah.
Anyone else here? Kurt, do you have an answer?
Honestly, the actors would be most interested in working with are people in the excellent Buffalo film community, because Adrian and I split the directing duties. There were some days where I wasn't on set because I had to work. There were days when Adrian was having his clown makeup put on because he plays one of the clown villains. So I was more taking care of the directing during that part. So one of the days that I was not there was when Paul McGinnis has a really great role as a burnt out cop. And when I saw that footage, I was like, oh man, I wish I was there on set that day because he's really good. So he's somebody I would love to work with directly at some point. Yeah, there's quite a few Buffalo people I'd love to work with.
I mentioned this a lot on the show, but that's something when I started doing Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival, which is still a very long name, Greg Lamerson, but is that there's a great community aspect of Buffalo. They're at everyone's very supportive of everyone else's films. They all work on each other's stuff, and that kept me going back year and year. I like to see that. Nolan, who would you like to work with?
Man, there's a couple of people I want to work with. One of them is actually it's Adrian. I want to work with him again.
Very cool.
I also want to there's two other people that I want to work with, and that's Natalie Portman. She's amazing. I adore her. She's also directs her own films, so she's amazing. And Selena Gomez.
How about yourself, Mr. Ron?
You tell everybody you got to get going.
Am I next?
Yeah, we'll go through. I asked John, but I'm not sure if he heard me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Yeah, I'd actually I'm looking to work with anybody that'll have me. At this point.
Yeah.
I'm looking for gigs, and I want to do more acting because I've been focusing a lot on producing for other people and producing stuff for me, and in the background I'm doing a lot of writing and pre-production for a lot of projects, but I would love more chances to do some acting and things like that, because I really enjoy acting quite a bit, and I've been told I'm pretty good at it. So I like to try to get better at what I'm good at. So, you're always learning in this kind of a business.
I enjoyed you in Slime City Massacre.
I'm sorry?
I enjoyed you in Slime City Massacre.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, that was one of my first big things. I was the production manager on that and did a whole bunch of stuff, and then I got to act in it, and it was a lot of fun because I enjoyed the original Slime City quite a bit and everything. And that was the first time Greg and I really worked together. So that was pretty cool, kind of getting into doing more of the film stuff in Buffalo. That was a long time ago too. I've been doing this stuff for a long time, since before there was a film industry in Buffalo. So it's kind of cool to see all this hard work that me and a pretty big group of others really worked hard to make it seem like this is a great place to film, and it seems like it's taken off in a huge way. So kudos to the rest of the Western New York film industry, who's really busted their hump to make Hollywood stand up and take notice.
And yourself, Adrian, who would you like to work with?
Well, I would like to, what comes to mind are two actors. One is Michael Berryman. It's because I have a part for him, maybe if he has a reasonable price for Special Needs Revolt.
Talk to the nice guy.
And I also want to work with actually two other people, Lynn Lowry for Special Needs Revolt, the movie I want to do in the future. And also I want to work with Jake the Snake Roberts in a movie that John Renna wants to do called He Was a Bad Man, because John Renna, that's one of John Renna's dream projects, and I'm hoping that Jake the Snake Roberts can do that movie if he's still, because if he's
Peanut
still
Butter
alive.
Falcon, right? That you guys reference in the movie.
Oh man, I love that movie. I love Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah.
Very good.
Just say interrupt, guys. I gotta go.
Hey, listen, guys, I hate to interrupt, but I gotta get going.
All right. Well, it was very good to meet you, Dalton.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Dalton.
You did a great
Good to
job.
see you,
at the
Dalton.
movie.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
All right.
you.
See you
We'll
guys
talk
soon.
to you soon.
Have fun.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye.
Like I mentioned, I kind of stepped into this role not expecting that to happen. Oh, here's
Bye bye.
Roland.
Have a great day.
not expecting that, not expecting it to happen. So he is so like his mind is such a steel trap that he knew, like he didn't just know his lines, he knew like every line in the script, literally every line in the script. So if you ever didn't know your lines, he would just say what your line was. It was crazy. So for me, I normally learn lines differently. I kind of spend my time and really develop a character, and over a period of time. With this, I had to kind of do it more quickly. So I wasn't where I normally consider myself 100. And there was one or two times when I was a little herky jerky, and he was right there to help me. It was, he's really good. He's really good. And he can do some great voices too.
Yeah, Dalton is one of a kind.
Did you know Dalton before the movie, Adrian?
No, I knew him only when I went to Artists Unlimited and saw him perform Shrek as Shrek in Shrek the Musical, and he did a fantastic, outstanding job. But if it's okay, I wanted to ask John Renna a question. So John, I kind of I kind of like brought in your movie. He was a bad man. I don't know if that's what you had envisioned, for
Well,
the main
well,
character.
what happened was I wrote the script with Danny Hicks in mind. I wrote the script for Danny, and that was when I first kind of realized something must not have been going okay with Danny. He had surgery done to his neck, and so I knew that he wasn't able to get back to me right away about stuff. I had the script written for him, and he was pretty excited to see it. And I noticed that he hadn't checked it out, and I tried to get a hold of him. And then that was when all of a sudden I started hearing everything, and unfortunately, I only really got to talk to him one last time before he passed, to tell him how how much he meant to me and everything. So this script was for him, and then when he passed away, I was just like, who else could play the bad man but the guy I wrote it for, Danny, and and then that's when it kind of dawned on me that I've written him into all of my scripts pretty much. So I have to go in and like figure out all of my scripts now. And then that was when Adrian had mentioned Jake the Snake would be awesome in there, and I had said how much I love him and stuff, and it just kind of turned into this thing now where Adrian's like, we got to do He Was a Bad Man with Jake the Snake Roberts. Meanwhile, we're talking about it on this podcast, and if Jake the Snake is listening, he's probably like, what are these people talking about? I don't even know who they are.
Multiple time guest on my wrestling show, I think 3 or 4 times. So, he's actually been on here once too, a video interview.
Yeah. He's awesome, and he's awesome, and it would be really, really cool to get him out and work with him, because I mean, he's Jake the Snake, and as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best actors out there. I mean, he's one of the best wrestlers in history. His mic work was unparalleled. I mean, you don't get much more awesome than Jake the Snake Roberts. So I would love to get him in front of a camera and see what he does with a little bit of direction. I bet he would kill it. I bet he'd kill it.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Very good. So where does Clowns in the Woods, we're going to play it Saturday, but from there it's already been announced for some festivals, if you can name them.
Well, the first festival it's going to be in is the Shawnee Film Festival.
Hey.
Which is in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. Sorry.
My friend Skip Shea runs that. Very good guy.
Yeah, and I believe Nolan, you and your mom are going to come to that.
That's right.
And the rest I have to wait for. I entered it into some film festivals that are horror related in Los Angeles. I submitted it to a Italian horror film festival in Italy. Yeah, and I submitted it to the Boston Underground Film Festival. I've submitted it to, I'm trying to think, the Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival and the Anomaly Film Festival, which is in Rochester, New York, where I'm from and where I currently live now. And well, I've always lived here, but so those are the ones I could think of off the top of my head that I've submitted to. So yeah, those, and I'm hoping, we did hire a PR person who's going to work with us. We're going to get back to her if not, the Anomaly Film Festival accepts Clowns in the Woods, because her idea, our PR person, Dresden Engel is her name. She wants to have like a 4-wall movie theater, possibly Movies 10, the Regal in Rochester, New York, and see where it goes for Halloween time, October. So she's going to be working with us. She's going to try to get interviews for Spectrum One News. She wants to get us into Variety magazine and so forth. So hopefully Clowns in the Woods will get the recognition it deserves, Neal and everyone.
Very
Cool.
I know your mom's a big supporter of your film career. Does she help out on the movies too? Does she actually help? Is she on set or anything?
Yeah, she's been always on set. She's a big help to my life and my film career. Without her, I probably wouldn't be anywhere I am with this film career and all my services and supports. And she's basically the jewel of my life. And but I mean, it is we have our ups and downs, but it's I guess you could say that with all families, parents and their kids.
Yeah, of course.
She's a great producer. She's a really
Yeah,
good producer.
Yeah,
She is
a
really
great
good producer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you guys. Yeah, she is a fabulous producer.
She's got balls. You got to have them when you're a producer, and she's got them.
Yeah, just like that AC/DC song, she's got balls.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bueller's, as they say.
Right.
She's there, right? Tell her I said hi.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let her know she said hi. John.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
the other
Let her know
part.
I said she's got balls too. She'll like that, I'm sure.
I just heard Adrian's giggle there, and anyone who's been at Buffalo Dreams will know the giggle. You hear him throughout the movies. Everyone's a big fan. Yeah. All right, Nolan, what do you have in the works? Obviously, everyone wants to see Clown in the Woods, but do you have anything coming up?
Actually, I just did a short film recently, which is coming out soon.
Very cool.
Yeah. And looking around for anything, for any work. If anyone wants to work with me, I'll work with them.
How about John? Do you have anything in the works?
Well, I'm actually this is kind of like a soft announce. We haven't really talked about it anywhere, but I think Mick Thomas, Pumpkin Bitch, and he's and he's the post-production supervisor for Cornell University. He's pretty much a powerhouse, and he's my buddy. And we like to laugh and joke that we're the two biggest things in Western New York film or in New York film, just because we're both well over 300 pounds.
I was going to say,
yeah. So basically what nobody knows is that we've put together a string of lookbooks. We're writing a bunch of scripts. We have a 6K camera system put together, and we are going to be producing some stuff under the moniker At a Combined Weight Productions.
I approve of the name. I'm a big fan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
it
I like
reminds me
both you
of
guys.
wrestling. Sorry, I was just gonna say it reminds me of wrestling at a combined weight.
Well, we did the math. And there's a lot of wrestling fans in the room right now. And I'm well over 3. He's well over 3. And there's only a handful of professional tag teams in the history of tag teams that even come close to us. There's only a handful. So we are definitely super heavyweights.
Yeah, both Adrian and I aren't the super heavyweights anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say Neal and John and Kurt and Nolan. I've started at 300 pounds. I'm now down to 264, and I keep going down and down.
Awesome.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Recently, I had a higher dose of Rybelsus, but it was making me feel like my stomach was stapled.
Yeah.
So I had to get off that medicine because but now my blood sugar's under control.
Yep.
My weight is doing well. People
Eat
have
right and stop sucking down sugar.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've stopped doing that too.
Good job.
Yeah.
I've been drinking, like a lot of water, as you see.
Yeah, I see
As
that.
we don't see, thanks to the green screen.
So it's been a long process to lose that weight, but this new Rybelsus medicine, I don't mean to go off on that, but it felt like I had no appetite. I was super stuffed and got sick. So, but right now I'm very happy, and my mom and a lot of other people said, "Wow, you look very different, Adrian. You look like you've lost a lot of weight." And I feel that's a good thing, as I'm sure you felt very good, Neal. And
Oh yeah. It's a much better. Yeah.
I had to stop
I'm doing
eating
the same
dairy.
thing.
What was that, John?
I was saying I had to completely cut dairy out of my diet entirely, which was one of my big things was dairy. I had to completely cut it out, and I've lost quite a bit of weight too. But unfortunately, I'm so large that after losing quite a bit of weight, I'm still like over 300 pounds. So yeah, just
You're
I
very
keep telling
tall.
myself it's a big frame.
I'm 5'5". It's different.
Yeah. I'm a little closer to 6'4", so I can wear it okay. I just look like an old timey wrestler.
yeah,
Yeah,
you mean like I'm trying to think who you remind me of. Remember, do you know who Earthquake and Typhoon are?
Yes, exactly right. Actually, that was actually funny. When I was a kid, they were so huge, and now I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, those guys aren't so big.
We haven't heard from Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt, what do you have in the works?
I've been working on some scripts of my own.
Ooh.
And I, might want to do something kind of guerrilla in the near future because, I remember the good old days of, when mini DV came out, it was like the, the barn door opened and all the horses escaped. Everybody was like, all right, we're going to get our crazy movies made.
Wild West.
Yeah. So, my goal is to, get something like that going again. Actually, one of those that I did about 10 years ago was a personal project called Saber Frog. That's what you can see behind me, which is a road movie comedy about a guy who goes on a road trip to find old friends because voices in his head tell him to. And it's a movie that I recently did a special edition of where I re-edited a couple scenes, put in some new footage, and that is now available to rent on Amazon. If you want to see that, one of the old friends that he reunites with is played by John Karius, who's been in quite a few B movies. He's the first guy to die in the trauma film Poltergeist, and it's a very graphic and memorable death, which I remember hearing people cheering in the audience when I saw it at a screening one time. He's in the track, he's in VHS 2. So
yeah, he's also in Clowns in the Woods as Mr. Punch the Puppet, the voice.
yes, how could I forget? Yes.
That's very cool. How about yourself, Adrian? What do you have in the works?
Well, like I said before, I have Special Needs Revolt. Hopefully that won't have to be put on hiatus again. If it is put on hiatus again, I will make like I said, Transgender Stein, which was inspired by my love of Frankenstein movies, my support of the LGBTQ community, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, seeing drag queens when I was in Provincetown when I was 7 years old back in 1987. The list goes on. And also because of two friends I have that are, one friend I've known who since 8 years old in third grade, her name is Artemis. She's transgender and living in Los Angeles. And also Dylan Mars Greenberg, who was, she's part of Trauma. And she's been in, she was in hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm and so forth. So we're good friends. And I think she has her movie Reagitator as part of the festival.
Playing on the Experimental Monday block on
So it was those Artemis Soltera and also Dylan Mars Greenberg inspired me also to write the script and want to make Transgender Stein become a movie along with Frankenstein movies.
And Dylan, she just to throw it out there, she just directed a music video for Michael C. Hall from Dexter, which was very cool. So congrats.
Ah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dylan is also in one of Adrian's documentaries, Greetings from Tromaville, which is a documentary about Lloyd Kaufman. Adrian, Dylan is in that film, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's in it. In Greetings from Tromaville about Lloyd Kaufman and trauma. She was in 2 scenes where she was giving the tour of the trauma building, the office, and showing everyone the trauma sign, welcome to Tromaville, and also their DVDs collection where they have their distribution. So so she was in those 2 scenes. So but I hope I look forward to working with her. She seems like a cool person.
Yeah. And both John and I are in one of your documentaries too.
Yeah, oh
That's
yeah,
right.
that's right. Yeah, you're in Read Unbound. And were you in? No, I don't think you were in
I'm
Green.
just in Read Unbound, but I don't know about John, but yeah.
I loved that. I loved that Reed documentary. It was so weird. It's so awesome.
I got a big kick or watching it at Buffalo Dreams, and everyone's saying how Joel Reed is, crazy and all this, and the movie is, nuts and stuff. And then I'm there saying, "Oh, I think it's lighthearted and stuff," and everyone just starts laughing like I'm totally insane or something. But it was good. But it was excellent, and that's on. You can watch Read Unbound on where? On Tubi?
It's on Trauma Now.
Oh, so on the Roku channel.
Yeah, it's a part of Roku, on one of the apps on the Roku channel, Trauma Now, and also Vimeo. On demand, Vimeo,
Right.
where you pay or rent for it on Vimeo.
Yeah, you did an excellent job on that.
Oh, thank you, Neal.
You're welcome. I actually filmed my part right down here in my basement, in my creepy basement.
Yeah, it would have been cool if but it's too late now. If this cool setup you have right here,
Yeah, I actually had the bookshelves, but I didn't have time to set them up at the time because I was flying somewhere. But it's unfortunate.
Yeah, because you have Norman Bates and Frankenberry and all that.
Bunch of tikis.
Yeah. Trista, did you have another question?
Oh, sure, yeah. So I'm always interested in what scares horror creators. Do you guys have any fears or phobias that you feel comfortable talking about?
I had mentioned earlier when Kurt agreed and brought up some great points about Jaws, that because of Jaws, deep water is kind of something where I'm a big dude with a great big old deep voice, but like if I'm in water and like some seaweed or something touches my foot, it's like a cartoon. I come completely out of the water and you hear the dingly dingly ding, and I'm like on tiptoes running across the water. I get so scared something's about to nom on me from underneath because of Jaws. So that's one of my things, and claustrophobia is another one that just is kind of, for whatever reason, it's because I'm so big. Small places I don't like that idea. I see these people doing that mountain climbing stuff and I can't even watch it. I start to get panicky.
I'm
like,
what's a movie with it's a female cast when they're underground?
The
The Descent.
Yeah, the whole idea of being underground is before there's even the monsters that freaks me out.
Yeah.
Honestly, especially when I was bigger, the same idea, the idea of being stuck somewhere.
Now you can't lose weight to get out. You're screwed.
Nolan, did you have I saw you were about to answer Trista's question.
Yeah, actually, I have a phobia of turkeys.
Really?
That's awesome.
I have
Really?
many wild turkeys around here, so you'd be freaked out around my house.
Yeah, we have Nolan. We have wild turkeys around my area too.
Don't tell him that. He's not going to come visit now.
Nolan,
Also
a friend of mine.
I'm just kidding.
A friend of mine called me on the phone, and he was walking through the woods in the dark, and he started screaming in the middle of the phone call. And I was like, "What happened? What happened?" I was about to call the cops. He said a turkey dropped on his head, and he started freaking out.
They can fly. It's
Yeah.
very strange because
They
they're
can.
big, and they'll jump like over my house, and it's very. I saw one. I took a picture of. It's hard to get to really notice, but he flew up to the top of a telephone pole, and he was just sitting up there. And it was very strange.
Yeah.
You can feel the wind when they're flying over you. It's odd.
Now I'm writing a script.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's already Thanksgiving with a killer turkey.
That's very true.
I can't watch that, Adrian.
Well, he's a trash talking turkey though.
Yeah.
Kurt or Adrian, did you have a fear, Kurt?
I can't think of a fear as an adult that has a major effect on me, because I feel like a lot of adulthood is just learning to kind of like manage and just, you know, kind of hide those sort of things. But one thing I can think of that, I don't know why this would have been the case, but I can think of 3 different movies I saw as a kid that all scared me with the same thing. Was like a scary tree coming to life. Poltergeist did that. Wizard of Oz did that, and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, I think, also had a scene where she's running in the
What about
woods and
Evil
all
Dead?
the trees are. And
the
I don't
vine.
know why. As an adult, I'm like, why trees? That's kind of weird. But I remember those, and you know, it's like, you know, I watched stuff like The Dark Crystal and Watership Down as a kid, and there's adults who's like, oh, that was so upsetting. I'm like, really? I saw it when I was a little kid and I loved it. But I don't know, something about like monster trees, I guess, freaked me out as a kid for some reason.
Interesting.
Evil Dead.
Adrian, did you have a fear?
Well, it scares me. I can't even do it when I get my blood drawn as needles. I can't look at especially Halloween 2, where Michael Myers puts the needle in the nurse's eye, and and also another fear I have in horror movies. I don't know if any horror movies have done this, because it's actually worse than killing someone is giving them a lobotomy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, one who flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Yeah, that's another phobia I have, is that kind of stuff. But I don't even know if I could watch the Human Centipede. I'll have to do it eventually. It's for when I make for Special Needs Revolt, because there's a scene which is more in a parody of Human Centipede, and like in South Park, that episode of South Park I have written in the script that Kurt and I wrote.
Sweet.
I want to do a little loop video of the people from Human Centipede, but then just have like them roll down the stairs and go up and like roll down the stairs like the circus guys. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? That's how they get them down the stairs. That's how they do it, like Cirque du Soleil with the Human Centipede people. How awesome would that be?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
I think we totally have to do a short film now.
Yeah.
One last question here from Marsha. She wants to know, what's your proudest moment while making a film or working in films? We'll start with John.
Okay.
Proudest
I'm on
moment.
here like
Yeah, I know. We're all very polite. You don't want to talk over each other. I understand. Unlike me, I talk over everybody.
I would say probably probably my crowning achievement. Man, that's a tough one. I don't know. I feel like every time I act, I try to get a little deeper into a character, learn a little something more, and get a little better. But I would say probably like my crowning achievement has to be Dick and Tommy Gun. I have ownership of it back again, and I'm going to be doing a director's cut and trying to get it back out there. I'd be interested in showing it here with you guys if you guys want, because I know that Danny and Tim would have loved it, and that's probably it for me. Would be putting together that crazy feature with all those awesome actors for under $9,000. It's crazy. So that's probably it for me, I'd say.
Nice.
So far.
Yeah. Kurt.
I think for now, I think I'm gonna say Saber Frog, because that was a movie that kind of it was a script that just kind of oozed its way out of me because it grew out of where I was at that point in my life, thinking about where I'd been and where I was headed, and kind of trying to make sense of some philosophical issues, as well as making a weird comedy. And my philosophy has been that I've always felt that comedy is a way of being able to express things that might be hard to express in a more serious movie. So that's something that I put a lot of effort in. So I'm proud of that.
Cool. I look forward to watching it.
Cool.
Nolan.
Man. For me, it's Clowns in the Woods. It's like, I've done theater. With theater, you can't go back and do another take. So with film and TV, you can actually. So that means you're perfecting your craft more and more. And for me, I love learning the craft. It's all about putting your mind to the character and getting it out there and following your dream and making it happen.
Very nice.
Awesome. Thanks, Nolan.
Thank you, Adrian.
Oh, you're welcome.
And Adrian, do you have a proudest moment?
I would say the two proudest moments in film, as in terms of narrative films, are Clowns in the Woods, and for the first film I've directed, actually co-directed with Court Markham, and Bury My Heart with Tonawanda. Even though I didn't direct that film, I wrote the script, edited it, and had a little part in there and co-produced it. The guy who directed it was Gary Sundown, who was from the Tonawanda Seneca Reservation, and I've seen him a couple more times before at the Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival, but
Is that film available for people to watch online?
Yeah, it's that one is yes, thanks Kurt for bringing that up. That one is available on Bury My Heart with Tonawanda is available on Amazon Prime to rent and buy, as well as Tubi TV and YouTube to buy, YouTube movies to purchase and rent, and some other platforms if you just Google it and look it up.
Cool. All right. Well, this has been very fun, and I hope everyone comes Saturday, checks out Clowns in the Woods. We'll be there. I'll be there. I think most of us will be in there in the chat. There'll be a bunch of horror fans, filmmakers, actors, and we'll have a good time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thanks for taking Clowns in the Woods into your film festival, Neal.
Thank you for submitting it.
You're welcome. More than welcome.
And thanks everyone for coming on the show.
Thank you, Neal.
Thanks for
you.
having me. It was good to talk with you, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks Dalton as well, who had to step out.
All right.
I didn't ask what he had. It looked good though.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.